2,500 years ago, in the streets of Athens, an old man wandered barefoot, asking uncomfortable questions. What is justice? What is virtue? And what is the good life? That man was Socrates, and his student was Plato. Together, they did not just change the philosophy, they gave birth to ethics, the science of right and wrong. Their ideas still echo in our classroom, our courts, and even in the mind of honest civil servant today. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, The Indian Soul. I am your friend Shomiron. We are going to discuss Western philosophy. Today is the first day. Socrates, the father of ethics. What is good life? Socrates believed that every human being desires happiness, but true happiness comes only from virtue, not wealth or pleasure. An unexamined life is not worth living. Means don't just live, think about how you live. Don't just follow, question what right. That questioning, that search for moral truth is beginning of ethics. Socrates never lectured. He asked questions until people found truth within themselves. For example, a soldier says courage means not feeling fear. Socrates asks, but if you run blindly into danger, is that courage or foolishness? Slowly, the soldier realized true courage is knowing danger yet choosing to do the right thing. In administration, moral reasoning begins with questioning your motives and consequences, exactly as Socrates taught. Knowledge equal to virtue. Socrates believed no one does wrong knowingly. Evil happens only through ignorance. So, knowledge of good automatically leads to good action. For an example, if an officer knows that bribery destroys public trust, he can't remain corrupt unless he is ignorant of virtue's value. This idea shapes ethics training in civil service. Awareness creates integrity. Socrates lived and died for truth. He was accused of corrupting youth and sentenced to death, but he refused to escape. He said, it is better to suffer wrong than to do wrong. Integrity means standing for truth even when the world stands against you. Plato, the philosopher of ideals. After Socrates' death, his disciple Plato carried the torch forward. He wanted to create a world where knowledge and virtue rule together. Plato said, behind everything we see, there is a perfect idea. We see beautiful things, but beauty itself exists as a perfect idea. We see good action, but goodness itself exists in a higher realm. Real knowledge means understanding this eternal truth, not temporary appearance. We cannot see justice, but we know when something is just because justice exists as an ideal within the mind. Plato told a famous story, the allegory of cave. Imagine people chained inside a cave, watching shadows on the wall. They think the shadows are real. One person breaks free, goes outside and see the sunlight, the truth. When he returned to tell others, they laugh at him. The most people live with half truth and illusions. Philosopher's job to seek truth and share it, even if society mocks him. A true leader is like the person who leaves the caves and guided by reason, not popularity. Plato dreamed of an ideal state ruled not by wealth or power but by the wisdom. He said, until philosophers become king or king become philosopher, there will be no end to the travel of the states. Administrators should be philosopher kings, combining knowledge, morality, and leadership. For an example, when a district collector decides policy based not on votes or fear but on the truth and justice, that Platonic ethics in action. For Plato, justice is harmony. Just as the human body has three parts head, heart, and stomach, a just person balances reason, emotion, and desire. Similarly, a just society balances wisdom, courage, and discipline. Wisdom of ruler, courage of soldiers, and discipline of workers. Justice is when everyone does their rightful duty, no more, no less. In administration, justice means balance between law and compassion, between individual right and collective good. Socrates taught us to question ourselves. Plato taught us to perfect ourselves. Together, they remind every civil servant and citizen that true power comes from wisdom, true success comes from virtue, true happiness comes from doing what is right, even when it is hard. In our next lecture, we will meet Aristotle, the student who brought philosophy from the heaven to earth, taught that virtue is not an idea but a habit. Thank you.